War I, also known as the Great War, was one of the most devastating conflicts in modern history. It lasted from 1914 to 1918 and involved many of the world's great powers, divided into two opposing alliances, the Allies and the Central Powers. The war's causes, course, and consequences reshaped the global landscape and had profound impacts on the 20th century. Origins of World War I are complex and multifaceted. Several interrelated factors contributed to the outbreak of the conflict. Nationalistic fervor was a driving force behind the war. These were intensely focused on their own interests and often pursued aggressive policies to assert their dominance. Nationalism fostered competitive and antagonistic relationships between nations. Imperialism, the major European powers were engaged in intense competition for colonies and global influence. Imperialistic rivalry created tensions, particularly in Africa and Asia, where conflicts of interest were common. The major powers of Europe had been building up their military forces and developing new technologies. Arms race created an environment where the possibility of war seemed inevitable. Belief in the necessity of military solutions to international disputes was widespread. The intricate web of alliances that existed between various countries meant that any conflict could quickly escalate. Alliances were the Triple Entente comprising France, Russia, and Britain, and the Triple Alliance comprising Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. When conflict erupted, these alliances dragged multiple nations into the war. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. The immediate catalyst for the war was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary in Sarajevo in June 1914, and triggered a series of diplomatic maneuvers and mobilizations that eventually led to the full-scale war. The war was fought on multiple fronts, with the most notable being the Western Front, the Eastern Front, and the Italian Front. Front characterized by trench warfare, the Western Front saw brutal and static battles with little territorial gain. Battles included the Battle of the Somme and the Battle of Verdun. Conditions in the trenches were horrendous, with soldiers facing constant threat from artillery, disease, and harsh weather. The Eastern Front was more fluid than the Western Front, with larger movements and more significant territorial changes. An army faced off against the German and Austro-Hungarian forces. The vastness of the front and the harsh winters added to the difficulty of warfare in this region. In front, Italy, which joined the Allies in 1915, fought against Austria-Hungary along the Italian front. The conflict here was marked by a series of battles along the Isonzo River and high-altitude warfare in the Alps. War I had far-reaching effects on the world. The human cost of the war was staggering, with an estimated 16 million people killed and 21 million wounded. Also had significant psychological impacts on soldiers and civilians, many of whom suffered from what would now be recognized as PTSD. Changes the war led to the downfall of empires such as the Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, Russian, and German empires. It also contributed to the rise of new political ideologies, including communism and fascism. The Treaty of Versailles, which formally ended the war, imposed heavy reparations and territorial losses on Germany, fostering resentment and instability that contributed to the outbreak of World War II. In economic changes, the war had profound effects on society, including changes in gender roles as women took on roles traditionally held by men. Economically, the war led to significant debts and disrupted trade, contributing to the Great Depression in the 1930s. Technological and tactical innovations. World War I saw the introduction of new military technologies and tactics, including tanks, aircraft, and chemical weapons. These innovations changed the nature of warfare and had lasting impacts on military strategy. War I was a defining event of the 20th century, shaping the course of history in profound ways. Causes including nationalism, imperialism, militarism, and complex alliances led to a conflict of unprecedented scale and devastation. Consequences reshaped the political, social, and economic landscape of the world, setting the stage for future conflicts and influencing global events for decades to come. Understanding the origins, course, and impacts of World War I provides crucial insights into the nature of modern conflict and the importance of international diplomacy in preventing future wars.